Oh, that's good. And I think that's a perfect segue because we're going to talk about, the signs now that our bodies may give us. And before we get into this, I just want to say disclaimer, although Cassandra's a doctor, this is just a conversation to get us all
Yes,
thinking and reflecting.
correct.
If you listen and you're like, "Ooh, I think I'm feeling that," or "I think I'm experiencing one of those signs," please consider seeking professional medical help and advice. But
Correct.
yeah, this is just a conversation. Please don't listen and think, "Oh,
Yes.
Chid, you told me that this is happening."
Correct.
No.
Correct. This is not your
Oh,
diagnosis. Please go
yes,
seek,
exactly.
yes, establish care with your own provider, please.
For sure. So the first sign is, body pain. I think
Mhm.
sometimes we'll feel like, oh, my arm is hurting, or I'm feeling pain here. What could our body be trying to tell us, with regards to body pain?
So I will start with the top. So headaches.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Um, Headaches are really common, and they can happen for a variety of reasons. Sometimes just being hungry or dehydrated can cause headache, right? So
yeah.
survey yourself and ask yourself, when do these headaches occur? And if you're currently experiencing a headache, okay, did I do the bare basics, which is, did I drink enough water? Did I eat something? Like, did I have adequate calories and nutrition today? Did I sleep well last night? So am I
Mm,
hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? Those are some common reasons for a headache, as well as depending on the distribution of it, like, am I stressed out? Is what I'm
yeah.
currently doing causing me like some stress? So maybe I need to like step away, take a second.
Mm,
How's my vision? Do I have a headache with blurry vision, or my vision just has not been the same, hasn't been as sharp lately? That
mm,
is going to be cause for absolute, like, let's not take a Tylenol for this. We need to
mhm.
go and call a medical professional. That could be
Right.
signs of something way more serious.
Okay.
Um, Also, our headaches can be talking about, it can be pinpointing nutritional deficiencies. One of the most
Mm,
common vitamin deficiencies in North America is vitamin D deficiency. Um,
mm,
like 65 to 70% of North Americans, I think it's US, Mexico, and Canada combined, are
mm.
vitamin D deficient. Mostly because, especially us in the colder zones,
Yeah, the
are
East
indoor
Coast.
people. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're indoor people, so we don't get enough sunlight. Even though the UV rays do come in through our windows, it's not quite enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the signs of vitamin D deficiency is actually a headache, as well as depression. So just
Mm,
there have been studies that have shown that patients who have presented to their provider with those symptoms, just by raising their vitamin D levels to optimal levels, those symptoms have gone away. So we want to look at
okay.
our nutrition. Most of us need a supplement, a good supplement, as
Mm,
well, and a good diet that is filled with whole foods. I don't believe in restricting this or that, but I do think that we all should be eating foods that are some that are from the ground, at some
right.
capacity. Um,
Wow.
and then when we move down a little bit, things like chest pain is always alarming. We know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes we'll disregard it, like, oh, my chest hurt a little bit, or I have some palpitations, like I feel my heart beating, but I'm just a little stressed. No, 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 no. That
Can I
shouldn't
just
be.
can I just insert a story because I had
Yes.
the wake up call of a lifetime
Oh
like
gosh.
2 years ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago. It was in like November of 2022. And I had done so much in that day. I was on the go. I was moving a lot. I was going to see a friend. Then I ate a lot of salty food. Then I had an energy drink,
Ooh.
and I never have an energy drink. So by the end of the day, my heart palpitations had increased, and it lasted for a couple of days. And I
Ooh.
remember I ran to the doctor, and I was also getting ready to go on a trip, and I was like, my mom cannot lose her child. I cannot fall in
I know
Mexico. Y'all
that's
gotta
right. I know
tell me
that's
what's going
right.
on right now.
No, that's right. So you
So
went. Mm-hmm.
So after that, and then I noticed that that tends to happen to me when I have caffeine because I'm not a caffeine person. And
Mm-hmm.
so whenever I have an intake that's a little bit more than just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
the palpitations get to go in. My body
Yep.
doesn't know how to handle it. So after that, I was like, no energy
Not for you.
drinks,
Yep.
no caffeine for me.
Yep.
So yeah, that chest tightness,
Yep.
I don't play with that.
And I have a similar story. So back in December, so like last month, I joined Orange Theory Fitness. I'm just like, what? I
Mm,
need to get back into the gym. I got a gym membership that just I pay for. I'm like, I need to like have a commitment that at 6 o'clock or whatever, I need to be there or else they'll charge me. So I joined the Portrait Fitness. So I'm just like, well, dang, I know I can't keep up with the class. I have not been doing anything for a long time. Let me take me an energy drink before I go. So on the way there, I like chugged the energy drink. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for this workout. I get there. The way my heart rate was like, and I could not
Literally.
get that bad boy down. And I was hot, but I couldn't sweat. Like I was not sweating because I was also dehydrated. Like just because you know something up here does not mean that you like have good sense all the time. And I had to go out to the receptionist. I'm just like, I am not okay. She's like, what's going on? I'm just like, my heart rate, I can't get it down, and I am so hot. And I was just like, I just need to lay down somewhere. So she like was like, I don't know where you can lay down. I laid down like in the lobby because it was cold on the ground. I looked crazy. I was like, you know what? Never again. I don't need energy drinks. That's not what I do. I'm just gonna go take it slowly, and the challenge will be in the next class, not to keep up with people around me, but just to like, do better and better
Do
and
better than I
better.
did the last time. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
no energy
Whew.
drinks, honestly, because I don't know how people do
Girl.
it. How do people drink like those Celsiuses, like they're like juice, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I can't do it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's not healthy,
Whew.
and just I don't know how people can do it. Like their hearts are stronger than mine.
Yeah. Must be because no. After that I learned.
Same.
But yeah, sorry, go ahead. You were talking about,
It's okay.
chest pain and
Yeah, so chest pain is always going to be a red flag that maybe either something physically is not okay.
Yeah.
So things like caffeine, or there might be something more serious that is outside of our control, or just things like stress. If we're in a high stress environment, stress is going to translate into physical manifestations, one of which is going to be like chest pain, shortness of breath, changes in our vision even, might even like lose consciousness, like pass out because we're so stressed out. So all those things are like letting us know that we need to reassess our situations and then circle back. I briefly talked about, or I can talk about just stomach discomfort. I've been learning recently that millennials, and I think eventually it's going to trickle into Gen Z, have been getting colon cancer at really high rates. And they're predicting that in the next like 10 to 15, 20 years, it's going to be one of the highest causes of cancer deaths in the US.
Wow.
Right now, the recommendation is at age 45 to get a colonoscopy, but people in their 20s, 30s, early 40s have been passing from colon cancer. So I say this just as an alarm, just to ring the bell for listeners to pay attention to like any nagging stomach pain that you may have before or after meals, or if there are changes in your bowel habits. Like if you usually go every day and now you're going like once a week, let's look into that. Or if you used to go every other day and now you're going several times a day, let's look into that as well. And especially if you have a family member who has had colon cancer, you're even at a higher risk. So that's what this has been on my mind, that I just want us younger folk to really think about that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Whew, that is definitely alarming. Definitely
Yeah.
alarming. Is
Yeah.
any of that related to like the types of food we eat?
So I need to do more research.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I've been seeing that there's been conversation around plastic bottles. Like we are the plastic bottle generation of water. And we're trying to see if there's like a correlation there. So
Okay. But
yeah.
research is ongoing, so yeah, we won't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're not going to know quite
Yeah.
yet. But yeah. But of course,
Okay.
some of the foods that we eat, of course, if you eat like diets that are higher in saturated fats, so saturated fats we get from like animal products. So like animal meats and stuff, those are usually not as healthy. Yes, I believe you need some fat. Some fat is necessary for overall wellness. But I really think we need to make sure that we're getting enough fiber. We don't talk about fiber enough. We talk about protein, like, oh yeah, we all want to have a high protein diet, but we're not having enough fiber. The fiber is what actually fully allows our GI to be cleaned out, like for real. Instead of just having things accumulate with time, as things sit around and accumulate, it can potentially lead to incidents of like DNA damage, which can lead to cancer. So let's look at our fiber intake, friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So the next one. So
Mhm.
we talked about body pain, we covered headache, we talked about stomach. What about like
Mhm.
muscle aches? I guess
Muscle
this is sort of
aches.
similar.
So it depends. I think a lot of times, like if we sit with whatever pain it is, like we can figure
Mm-hmm.
out what's causing it. Like if
Mm-hmm.
we're doing a repetitive movement, let's say we're talking about working out and we're freshly back in the gym and we're trying something new. That new thing may be aggravating a muscle part. So I would
Yeah.
say is if you can pinpoint what is the cause of like muscle ache, like if it's like one group of muscles or one muscle, I would say get some rest, like rest that muscle, ice it, all those things. And if with a week there hasn't been any change, definitely go and see your medical provider.
Yeah.
Now, if the pain is like a lot of my muscles are hurting, like it's not just like one area of my back, but like the entire back hurts, and there's like some point tenderness that you can touch and feel some areas where there are pain, I would look into that a little bit deeper because there's something called fibromyalgia that's becoming a little bit more common, more prevalent. So I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely seek medical attention to see if it is just muscle pain due to like just
Mm-hmm.
using it, exercise, or if it's something a little bit deeper that might require some intervention.
Okay. Okay. And I got okay, so two more. Um, let's go fatigue or weakness, and then we'll end up with changes to our menstrual cycle. So when we are feeling, fatigue or we're feeling really weak, what could our body be trying to tell us?
Fatigue. So, a lot of time because we are, children of the hustle culture, grind culture, we're ambitious, we have goals, we neglect our sleep. We think, oh, I'm young and I've always only gotten like 5, 6 hours of sleep. I'm good. No, 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 no. Optimally, we should be getting at least 8 hours of sleep. If you're a person who cannot sleep throughout the night, but you're an early riser, and if you feel by 3 o'clock you're tired and you have the capability, the capacity to take a nap, please take a nap. So sometimes the fatigue is just literally like we do not get enough sleep, like we're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
Sleep is super important. I think we all know we need sleep, but we don't know how important it is. So if you're somebody who is studying, if you're in university, grad school, whatever, if you're studying, you need to be sleeping because that is how our memories are consolidated so that you actually can retrieve it later.
Mhm.
And then sleep has to do with a lot of things too, like our hormones. So if we are not getting the adequate amount of sleep, it's also going to affect all of the other cycles, like our hormonal cycles as well. So long story short, always look into the amount of sleep that you're getting and the quality of sleep. When you wake up, do you feel like, okay, I feel well rested? Or do you feel like, oh, I feel like I just closed my eyes for like 2 seconds and nothing really happened,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Those are the
Um,
worst,
yes,
especially when you have a busy day and you're like, "Oh, can I do this again?"
I
Like,
get so sad. Like I literally am just like, oh my God, I just closed my eyes. What do you mean it's the new day?
literally. Oh, man. Okay,
And
final sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
sorry. And the last thing I was gonna say is just I'm such an advocate for us to be taking a multivitamin of some sort,
Mm.
just
Mm.
because the commercialization of farming practices has depleted the soil. So therefore, the
Mm.
foods that we eat are not as nutrient dense as the foods that like our parents or our grandparents ate. So even if
Right.
you may have like a diet that's like rich in whole foods, that is awesome and that is really important. But we're also likely going to be, there's going to be some vitamin or mineral deficiency that's underlying that is going to affect our energy levels. So
Yeah.
take a quality multivitamin to fill in any gaps, is what I would say.
Okay, and that's important. I started doing that and I genuinely noticed the difference. Like, at first I was like, "Is this a placebo?" But
Hmm.
no, it
Hmm.
actually works.
Yep,
Like, I
same.
generally felt, like, just a little bit more energy, and I just yeah, and I started kind of not calculating calories, but
Hmm.
tracking, like, what nutrients I was sort of getting from different foods and then what nutrients I needed to kinda supplement with supplements and
Hmm.
vitamins.
Hmm.
So, yeah, no, I definitely hear that. Okay, final one. So for women specifically, um, changes or sudden changes to our menstrual cycle, what could that be trying to tell us?
Oh, a lot of things. Our menstrual cycles, I think, is super important for us to have an understanding of how long. is our menstrual. So how long do we menstruate, right? So is it like
Mm-hmm.
3 days? Is it 5 days? Is it 7 days?
Right.
How often is it? So are we getting every 28 days, 30 days, 32 days? That might be normal for you. So
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, and also how does it look? I am going to be really open and
Yep.
frank. You need to look at the color and the consistency of your menstruation. It tells us so much.
Right.
So let me go back. So you asked the what can that be telling us? So if let's say you miss a whole cycle, let's
Yeah.
take a look at what happened in the weeks preceding. So
Mm-hmm.
were you stressed? Were you sick? Like literally just
Mm-hmm.
getting an illness. Like we're in that time. So the flu, strep, RSV, COVID, all of those things can throw off your menstrual cycle. Why? Because our immune system is trying to fight a battle, so
Mm.
all the resources may go there and then neglect our hormonal cycle. So it might throw us off a little bit. Um, Nutrition. Are we getting all of the things that we need? So what allows our hormones and our endocrine system to function properly is going to be found in um, the baseline is going to be the things that help us to create the hormones. So is our diet
Right.
rich in foods that allow our bodies to create the hormones that we need to fuel the
Mm-hmm.
cycle?
Right.
Um, and then again, when we actually have our cycle, so let's look at the color of the blood, the consistency of the blood. Is it really rich in clots? Like, are you clotting a lot? That's not
Mm.
normal. Is it
Okay.
darker than usual or lighter than usual? All
Mm.
of those things. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm just
Oh
passionate about
no, that is
this.
so good because I think even when you mention like, are you clotting a lot? That's not normal. We don't really know these things, and we're not in our girl group chats talking about girl. What
Yeah.
was the menstrual flow like this time around? So a lot
Yeah.
of the times you don't know unless you're reading or you're listening to podcasts where a doctor
Hmm.
comes on and says this. So,
Yeah. Take a look.
so that's important.
I saw something on Twitter that blew my mind. Somebody was like, they put in a fresh tampon to take a shower, and then right after the shower, they take it out and put another one. I'm just like, hold on. We need to. You can, if there's one place you're going to free bleed, it's in the
It's in
shower.
the
Like,
shower. Yeah.
like it is okay. I
Yeah.
think there has been over time, there's been this like obsession in a way with like hygiene that we have
Yeah.
gone off the deep end. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking to myself, like, how do you even know, like, if you constantly have a tampon inserted, how do you even know what is your normal? You won't know.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I also
That's
have an
real.
antidote about wearing panty liners every day. I'll never forget when I was doing my OB-GYN rotation. The doctor was like, "Come here, you do this pelvic exam." And afterwards he was like, what did you notice?" I was just like, "Well, I could actually see the outline of where her panty liner was." So then he asked, he's like, "Do you wear one every day, don't you?" To the patient. And she was like, "Yeah, I do. How can you tell?" Literally because it was like a permanent imprint on there. So you need to know what does
Sorry,
your
sorry, so sorry. A permanent imprint on.
of on the labial folds, like on the
N-
external genitalia,
no
on the vulva,
way.
of where the placement of it is. If every day there is something there, the body
Yeah, it'll. Yeah,
adapts,
yeah, yeah,
right? Hmm.
yeah. Wow.
So ladies, do not wear a pain liner every
Mm.
single day either, because you need to know what's your normal, what does your discharge look like, especially as your hormones fluctuate during the month, right? So
Yeah.
I think we've just become so squeamish with our own bodies that now we're
Mhm.
losing touch with our bodies.
Yeah.
And I forgive me for that tangent, but I just
Oh
wanted to
no, that
mention
was
that.
good, girl. Because I, well, not every day, but I was one of
Hmm.
those like, oh, I need a penny liner. Da, 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 da.
Hmm.
And then I remember reading and hearing about it and just saying, it's not the best for you. And then so now I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, whatever. I'm not gonna do that anymore. But
Yeah.
wow, no, the fact that you can see
Yes.
the imprint
Imprint.
doing
Yes.
a
Yeah.
pelvic exam. Oh
Yep.
wow.
Yep. Because every day it's like right there in this, just about the same area. So,
Yeah.
yep, it changed. Like it was like a permanent outline. I don't know with time it probably will like resolve, but you can
Yeah.
see where things go. And I'm just like, okay, yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you for breaking down these signs, telling us what they could mean. I definitely took some things away. I'm sure some listeners did as well. And one common theme that, sort of I noticed throughout is things like our nutrition, of course, sleep, um, nutrition, our sleep, self-awareness, knowing what
Mhm.
our body's normal is, to know when to, go for a checkup or to, approach a professional for help and so on.